AITA for telling my wife I'd use her lesson in my next relationship? That's when she realized the lesson was for her. Hello. I figured it was worth sharing one of the most absurd situations I've ever experienced. I thought I was coming home to a quiet evening of relaxation, maybe dinner with my wife. Instead, I walked into something that looked more like a cut-rate courtroom than a living room. What began as an intervention about my flaws turned into the biggest wake-up call of my life. It was a Friday, not too long ago, and I, Jeremy, 34 years old, was heading home expecting the usual routine. Maybe some leftovers in the fridge. Maybe my wife, Scarlett, pretending to work on her laptop while half watching yet another reality show. Nothing extraordinary, just life. Except this time, as soon as I opened the door, I knew something was wrong. The couch had been pushed against the wall. Chairs were arranged in a semicircle like some broke-ass tribunal, and one empty chair sat right in the center, perfectly positioned as if I were meant to sit there and confess a sin. Scarlett stood behind it, arms crossed, sporting that fake polite smile she puts on when she's about to do something dumb she thinks is brilliant. Seated in the chairs were her 4 best friends, Kendall, Tori, Lena, and Sophie. I call them the Lulus. To put it briefly, none of them have had a relationship last longer than a haircut. They're the type to post things like, healing my divine feminine energy 3 days after getting dumped. The kind of women who give terrible advice and call it empowerment. Scarlett straightened up and said, "Jeremy, we need to talk." That tone, you know, the one women use when they've rehearsed the scene in the mirror. That exact one. "We're staging an intervention," she added, trying to sound firm, "about how you treat me." I placed my keys on the counter. "An intervention. Right." Kendall jumped into the conversation as if she were hosting a group therapy session. "We just want to help you understand how your behavior affects Scarlett." "Ah, so I'm the villain of the evening. Great. Let's see where this goes." Kendall cleared her throat. "You're emotionally unavailable. You never prioritize Scarlett's needs." Tori chimed in. "You've made her feel invisible. You've stopped being romantic. You don't plan surprises anymore." Lena, trying to appear gentle and wise, added, "You've become distant. It's like you've given up on your marriage." And Sophie? Of course, Sophie went for the dramatic blow. "Honestly, we don't even know why she stayed with you this long." I looked at them as if I had accidentally walked into a bad improv class. "Are you serious?" Scarlett found this profound. "They're just being honest. You need to listen to how I feel." Oh, this was going to be fun. I sat down in the empty chair. I crossed my arms and leaned back. "Go on, Dr. Phil's angels, enlighten me." Kendall rolled her eyes. "This is exactly the problem. You take everything as a joke. It's hard not to laugh when a woman who got dumped by a guy named Kyle for cheating on him with his roommate is giving you marriage advice." Her mouth hung open. Tori attacked. "You're deflecting." Speaking of which, coming from someone whose last boyfriend blocked her entire family because she kept showing up at his job unannounced, I'm not sure I'm the one who needs an intervention. Sophie crossed her arms. "You're proving our point. You're cruel and insensitive. Sophie, your last boyfriend ghosted you after you asked if he could pay your rent. Don't pretend I'm the problem here." Their faces were a spectacle, red, tense, outraged. Scarlett tried to stop me. "Jeremy, you're missing the point. I think the point is that I'm being judged by a panel of people who can't even stay in a relationship long enough to share an appetizer." Kendall slapped the armrest of her chair. "You refuse to take responsibility. On the contrary, I'm taking responsibility for letting all of you into my house." They started murmuring among themselves, throwing out insults, trying to get a rise out of me. I just smiled and relaxed, letting them continue. Scarlett's face lit up with every criticism against me, as if she was feeding on it. After an hour of recycled TikTok psychology, I asked, "Are we done?" Kendall scowled. "Do you even care what we're saying?" "Of course. I'm going to tell my buddies all about it in our group chat later." Tori gasped. "You're unbelievable." "Thank you," I replied. Finally, some honesty. She was fuming now. And Scarlett? She seemed furious that I wasn't breaking down or begging. She wanted an emotional collapse, not this. I stood up slowly. I grabbed my jacket and looked around. "Ladies, this has been illuminating. Thank you for the clarity." Scarlett blinked. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means I'll work on these issues in my next relationship." The silence that followed was beautiful. You could hear the rain hitting the window and the collective sound of 4 jaws hitting the floor. Kendall's mouth opened as if to say something, but nothing came out. Scarlett's fake smile evaporated. You're not serious. I am completely serious. I glanced around the room one last time. You can continue your little support group. I'm done. I went into the bedroom. I grabbed my gym bag, threw in some clothes, my laptop, and my charger. When I passed through the living room again, they were all whispering frantically. Scarlett followed me to the door. Jeremy, wait. I turned. No. You wanted clarity. There it is. I left, and I didn't feel anger, just freedom. I started the car and drove to a small hotel in Fremont. I had stayed there once for work. I checked in, tossed my bag on the floor, and sat on the edge of the bed. My phone wouldn't stop vibrating. Calls, texts, voice notes, all ignored. For the first time in a long time, I smiled. If that intervention was meant to break me, it only showed me everything I needed to see. Upon arriving at the hotel, my phone was practically having a seizure. 32 missed calls, 18 texts, and 2 voice notes where Scarlett delivered the best victim performance imaginable. The Lulus had also sent messages. You owe her a conversation. You're gaslighting her by leaving like that. Big talk from 4 women who treat emotional stability like a part-time job. I placed the phone face down on the table and opened my laptop. My mind was too agitated to sleep, but clear enough to start connecting the dots. I wasn't angry, just curious. There's a strange peace that comes when you stop pretending someone is being honest. First step, our joint credit card. For months, I'd seen the usual charges, groceries, Target, but now I found expensive dinners at different restaurants and a few midweek hotel nights. Oddly enough, all on nights she claimed to be with her friends. Well, girls' movie nights had gotten damn expensive. I checked the dates, September 20th, October 28th, 29th. All weekdays. All nights, she said she was working late. Weekday hotel nights, with whom? I pulled up our phone records. That's where the real pattern emerged. One constant number, almost daily. Texts, calls, more texts. 147 times in 4 months. I didn't recognize the number, but it didn't take long. A reverse lookup, and there he was, Logan Barrett, 33, Seattle. The name sounded familiar. I remembered her mentioning a Logan when we first started dating. The college ex, the guy who had shown her what a real connection was before breaking her heart. Yeah, that guy. I typed his name into Facebook. Profile picture in a bar, arm around a friend, trying too hard to look cool. Mutual friends, guess who? Kendall, Tori, Lena, Sophie. Of course, the Lulus knew him from college too, and that's how it all started to come together. I could already see the script. Scarlett complaining to them that I wasn't making her feel special. Them nodding like self-proclaimed therapists. One of them probably saying, you know, Logan is single again. Maybe you should send him a message. He really understood you. She had probably been poisoning him against me for months. Digging through her social media, I saw the trail. An old post from years ago, suddenly liked by Logan. A few subtle but sufficient compliments, then more recent messages. So proud of you. Still as beautiful as ever. Almost laughable. This guy hadn't changed since college, with the charm level of a wet paper towel. I started documenting everything. Screenshots, dates, notes. I wasn't impulsive. I was methodical. My father always said, if you stay calm, you win before the other person even knows there's a fight. Within an hour, it already looked like a financial crime scene. Over $1,500 spent in 4 months on dinners, hotels, and so-called work trips. All patterns pointing to the same period, August to November, for months of lies. I opened another tab for the phone records. Same number, same timeline. I even color-coded it. If I was going to burn this bridge, it would be with well-organized evidence. In the middle of all this, my phone vibrated again. Scarlett's name on the screen. I let it ring. Then a call from Kendall. Declined. A text arrived right after from Scarlett. Jeremy, I don't understand why you're acting like this. We were just trying to help you. I replied. You were very clear about what you wanted. I'm giving you exactly that. I went back to my notes. The more I pieced it together, the clearer it became. This intervention wasn't spontaneous. It had been rehearsed, staged, a way for her to feel justified in what she was doing. Paint me as cold, distant, controlling. That way, she could cheat without guilt, make her friends believe she was the victim, and when the truth came out, they would defend her. Almost clever, almost. By 1 a.m., I had everything saved on a USB drive, in a cloud folder, and on my phone. 3 copies. I wasn't going to lose the evidence to one of those usual, "I never said that" outbursts. But I wasn't done. If Scarlett thought she could rewrite history, she underestimated how calm I become when I stop caring about someone. I opened Google, typed "divorce lawyer," and started scrolling through names. That's when I found Katherine Branson. Family law, Columbia Tower, 5 stars. The reviews said, "Unflinching, strategic, calm under pressure." Exactly what I needed. I filled out the form, attached a few files, and sent it off. Consultation set for Monday morning. I closed the laptop and finally let the air out of my lungs. The rain outside hadn't stopped, steady, rhythmic, almost cleansing. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like the problem. I felt like the solution. Monday morning, I walked into Katherine Branson's office like a man going to work. "Jeremy Fort, that's me," I said, shaking her hand. Firm grip, sharp eyes, no nonsense. We sat down, and I slid the folder of documents across the table. Bank statements, call logs, screenshots, photos, a timeline, everything. She opened it, scanning and analyzing it all with surgical calm. You could tell she'd handled hundreds of cases, but this one caught her attention. After about 10 minutes, she looked up. "You're more organized than all my clients combined." I shrugged. Being accused of ruining someone's life leaves a lot of time for making charts. She gave a half smile. "Perfect. You'll like how I work. I don't do drama. I do clean wins." Kate explained the plan, a no-fault divorce, but we would use the misuse of marital funds and reputational damage to shape the settlement. This ridiculous intervention is pure gold. Proof that she tried to destroy your image in front of witnesses while using marriage funds to finance her affair. She added, "You need to avoid all emotional communication. Don't answer texts. Especially don't answer her friends. You stay silent. We'll do the talking for you." "Fine by me," I said. "I've run out of things to say to that group of geniuses anyway." "Excellent," Kate concluded. "We'll do this cleanly. We'll have the papers delivered near her work at the Daily Grind Cafe just before lunch. Public enough to send a message, but private enough to avoid looking vindictive." I nodded. "Perfect. I want clarity. Public and private." By Wednesday, everything was ready. I signed the papers and left the office feeling strangely light. I thought that would be the end of it. File, wait, move on. But of course, the Lulus can't mind their own business. That same evening, my notifications blew up. Kendall had posted a cryptic quote, "When a man can't handle a strong woman, he calls her crazy." Tori reshared it. Sophie posted a story, "Never apologize for outgrowing someone." Lena liked and commented, "You got this." Then the messages started, "You're disgusting for abandoning Scarlett when she needed you. I hope you're happy you broke a woman's trust. Men like you need to be exposed." I screenshotted everything and sent it to Kate. She replied in 2 minutes, "Perfect. Keep it coming." This helps immensely. But the Lulus wanted real drama, not just online. On Friday night, I was watching a movie in my new apartment when someone banged on the door like an angry landlord. I opened it to a tall guy, mid-30s, muscular, shaved head, with a guaranteed vacant expression. "Are you Jeremy?" he asked. "Depends. Are you selling something? Or are you here to make a fool of yourself tonight?" He scowled. "Kendall sent me. She says you're harassing her online." I almost laughed. "Ah, did she forget to mention she's cheating on you with her coworker from the Moonlight Bar every Thursday night?" His composure crumbled. His jaw tightened. "You're lying. Check her location history. Or better yet, look at Instagram. Explain to me why she's tagged near that bar every week while you're working the night shift." He looked down at his phone, scrolled, and his expression fell. "There you go," I said, crossing my arms. "Now you get it. She sent you here hoping I'd hit you so she could play the victim one more time. You deserve better, man." He nodded, defeated, and added, "Sorry, man. No worries. Just remember who sent you." He left in silence. 5 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Kendall was screaming into the receiver. "You had no right to say that. You ruined everything." I leaned back in my chair. "You're welcome. Maybe next time you'll keep my name out of your bad ideas." Beep. I hung up. Over the weekend, the Lulu group must have imploded because they all unfollowed me. Best news of the week. On Monday, Kate called. Ready for phase 2? Born ready. She had explained that the divorce papers would be delivered to Scarlett very soon. We're serving them to her just before lunch. It's subtle but effective. I laughed. So, no audience this time? Exactly. That afternoon, I stopped by her office to sign the last form. Kate reviewed the final file. My evidence, her statement, the financial timeline, a complete, ironclad case. Before I left, she told me, "You're handling this better than most." I figured screaming wouldn't do any good. Silence hurts more, I replied. She smiled. You're not wrong. Let's keep it that way. That evening, I cooked dinner, opened my laptop, and saw Scarlett's last message, still unread since Friday. The preview said it all. We can fix this if you'll just agree to talk to me. I deleted it without opening it, leaned back, and smiled. The game had changed. If the intervention was her opening act, this was mine. On Saturday afternoon, I went back to the duplex to get the rest of my things. The house looked the same from the outside, but walking up the steps felt different. It wasn't a home anymore, just a building filled with lies and receipts. Before I could even put the key in the lock, the door swung open. Scarlett was there, red-faced, mascara-streaked, holding a tissue like a performance prop. Jeremy, thank God. We need to talk. I walked past her without a word. I'm just here for my things. She followed me, her voice cracking as if she'd been rehearsing for days. I know what this looks like. I know I messed up, but you have to understand, my friends. I held up a hand. I've cut off the Lulus. She blinked. Don't call them that. Why not? It's exactly what they are. Every time one of them gets dumped, they host a red wine therapy session with zero self-reflection. I'm surprised you haven't charged them rent for living in our relationship. Her lip trembled. They pressured me. They said you were toxic, controlling. I didn't know what to think anymore. I calmly packed my things. So they controlled you into cheating on me? Creative. I didn't cheat, she said too quickly. Far too quickly. I opened the folder of documents and tossed them on the bed. Hotel bills, expensive dinners, call logs, all printed and labeled. September 20th, Hotel Monaco, $247. September 28th, same place. October 12th, October 29th. For weekday visits. Scarlett, you were supposed to be at work. Her face went pale. That doesn't mean what you think it means. Then explain it to me like I'm an idiot. Why am I seeing hotels, restaurants, and 147 calls to the same number in 3 months? She swallowed hard. Whose number is it? I stared at her. Logan Barrett. The name hit her like a slap. She tried to laugh. Logan, from college? You're crazy. And you started talking to him again thanks to your brilliant support group. I wasn't cheating. It wasn't physical. I zipped up my bag, as calm as ever. You don't spend $1,500 on dinners and hotels for something non-physical. Unless that guy is a therapist who serves wine and dessert. She started crying harder, taking a step forward. It wasn't like that. I just needed someone to talk to. You weren't paying attention anymore. You were working, you were distracted. I felt alone. So instead of talking to your husband, you talked to your ex. Flawless logic. She grabbed my arm, desperate. I didn't want any of this to happen. They told me you didn't care anymore, that you had already given up. So I was the bad guy. That's why you staged a play with your fan base to humiliate me before I found out what you were doing. Get ahead of the story, control the narrative. Her voice broke. No, it wasn't like that. I didn't want to hurt you. I just wanted you to fight for me. I've heard that line before. So tell me, why would I fight for someone who spent 4 months fighting to hide their affair? She froze, her hands over her mouth. I just wanted you to notice me again, to make me feel loved. I tilted my head. You could have tried honesty. That usually works. She stepped forward again. Please, we can fix this. I'll cut off all contact with him. I'll block his number. I'll go to therapy. Whatever it takes. We can start over. Start over? We can't start over when the version of you I loved doesn't exist anymore. She reached out. Jeremy, please, don't leave like I'm nothing. I put the last shirt in my bag. You're not nothing, Scarlett. You're just not who I thought you were. She tried one more time, now clearly desperate. Can't we at least talk? Just the two of us, without lawyers. I shook my head. No. You had your stage, you had your audience. Now it's my turn to let professionals handle it. From now on, everything goes through Kate. Her face froze in pure disbelief. You already have a lawyer? You wanted to show Scarlett? I just changed the script. She stumbled back a step, breathing erratically, still trying to hold up a performance that was no longer working. So that's it. You're just going to leave? I opened the door. No, Scarlett. You left a long time ago. I'm just catching up. She didn't try to follow me this time. The tears stopped, perhaps because she finally understood her scene was over. I walked out, bag over my shoulder, without looking back. The air outside was cold, cleaner, the kind that stings a little before clearing your head. As I got to the car, a text from her arrived. Are you really going to do this? Already did. I started the engine and drove away. No anger, no regret, just silence. If her intervention was supposed to make me beg, it had only shown me what I'd been avoiding for months. She wasn't a partner, but a performance I had finally stopped applauding. The following days felt like a movie I'd already seen, but in silent mode. Kate handled the legal side while I worked and packed my things. No chaos, no screaming, just a quiet peace that had always been impossible as long as Scarlett was in my life. That peace didn't last. Thursday, around noon, Kate called. She's been served. Where? At the Daily Grind Cafe, in front of her friends. Perfect. I could picture the scene. Scarlett, latte in hand, holding court with the Lulus. Then a process server walking up, saying her name, handing her the envelope. She opens it with her usual fake confidence, thinking it's just a warning, then discovers it's the full divorce filing. I didn't have to imagine for long. That evening, the internet was buzzing. Scarlett had gone into full social media martyr mode. Endless stories. You can give your all and still end up betrayed. I did everything right and still ended up the villain. Classic. The Lulus sang in chorus. Kendall, he was always cold. Tori, a deep quote about emotionally unavailable men. Sophie liking everything as if it were her job. I didn't reply, didn't post anything. I just took screenshots, every post, every comment, every hashtag, and sent it all to Kate with a simple note. She replied, perfect. Keep doing nothing. Silence wins. On Saturday, things escalated. Scarlett sent me a DM. You could have handled this privately. And you could have been loyal privately. I replied, a single sentence, then blocked her. Shortly after, an unknown number. You've ruined her life. I sighed. The Lulus again. Number saved, message ignored. Later, a friend from college called me. Remember Logan Barrett? The guy my wife wasn't cheating on me with? Well, he blocked her. Disappeared. Total ghost. So the prince of emotional connection turned into Casper? Pretty much. She's bombarding him with messages, created fake accounts to stalk him. It's sad, man. Sad for her, I said. For me, it's closure with free entertainment. The universe wasn't done giving me gifts. Sunday morning, a message from Lena, the quietest of the Lulus. Hey, Jeremy. I just want to talk without fighting, clear the air. Normally, I would have ignored it. But there was something different, a curiosity, maybe a need for a clean break. We met at a park by the water. She was already there, nervous, clutching her coat. Thanks for coming, she said. Don't thank me yet. You wanted to talk? Go ahead. She hesitated, then let it out. I know things got out of hand, and honestly, I feel terrible. We just believed her. She said you were yelling, controlling the money, isolating her. We thought we were helping. There it was. The lie she had planted. I remained calm. So, she told you I was some kind of controlling monster, and you believed her? Just like that, without checking. Lena looked down. She would cry every time she talked about it. It seemed real. We thought we were protecting her. I pulled out my phone. Mind if I record this? So I don't misquote you later. She nodded. I hit record, keeping my voice steady. So, everything you said during the intervention came solely from what Scarlett told you. Yes, she whispered. She made you out to be this horrible person, but after everything I've seen online this week, I don't even know what's true anymore. I nodded slowly. Now you know. Lena finally looked up, regret clear on her face. She needs help. She's not okay. I just wanted to apologize. Apology accepted, I said. But next time, do your homework before you volunteer to ruin someone's life. She nodded, stood up, and walked away without another word. I stopped the recording and immediately sent it to Kate. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. Kate's calm, Controlled voice announced that this confession might be the final nail in the coffin. False accusations, coordinated humiliation, financial infidelity. It all fits. So now what? I asked. Now we end this. I'm scheduling a joint meeting. Scarlett, her lawyer, and her entire support group. Do you want to be there? I smiled. I wouldn't miss it for the world. That evening, I returned to the duplex for the last time. The place was already half empty. Tools, books, photos, all gone. I grabbed one last box from the garage, forgotten notebooks, cables, unimportant things. Walking through the kitchen, I noticed one of those candles was still lit. I blew it out and watched the smoke rise, looking around the place one final time. No anger, no sadness, just relief. I locked the door and stood in the cold air for a few seconds. It was a true final stop, like closing a book after the last page. Back at my place, I messaged Kate that I was ready whenever she was. She replied immediately, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Everyone will be there. I looked out the window. For months, Scarlett had been writing her own version of the story. The next day, I was going to give her an ending she hadn't planned for. I fell asleep with one thought. Tomorrow, they would finally see who caused all of this. At 3 p.m. sharp, I walked into Kate Branson's conference room for what she called the settlement meeting. Scarlett and her lawyer arrived first, followed by her friends, invited as witnesses since they had participated in the intervention. They clearly thought they were there to defend her, with no idea how badly it was all about to backfire. Kendall stood with her arms crossed. Tori whispered to Sophie, and Lena couldn't even look up. The atmosphere was already electric. Kate waited for everyone to settle. Thank you for coming. I know this is uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Scarlett's lawyer added, my client simply wants closure. Kate then opened her file, her cool, professional voice turning the storm into a formality. Let's begin with the financial documentation. Here are the statements from the last 8 months. She slid copies across the table. Recurring expenses at restaurants and hotels. Always at times when Mrs. Fortin claimed to be working late or out with friends. Kendall frowned. But those are just dinners. No. Kate pointed. $186 at the Ember Room, $247 at the Hotel Monaco, $210 at Verse. Same pattern, always midweek. Tori shifted uncomfortably. We never went to those places. Scarlett snapped. My God, stop playing accountant. This isn't about receipts. Kate remained unfazed. Actually, it is. These expenses were made with marital funds, and their misuse is legally relevant. I stayed silent, letting the chaos brew. Scarlett tried a defense, her voice trembling. He's doing all this because he's always hated my friends. He made me choose between them and him. Kate raised an eyebrow. Interesting defense. I finally spoke up. I didn't hate your friends, Scarlett. I just didn't appreciate getting relationship advice from people who treat commitment like a seasonal hobby. Kendall glared at me. You're unbelievable. I smiled. Are you single now? No. The jab landed. Sophie stifled a laugh, immediately getting a death stare from Scarlett. Scarlett's lawyer tried to interject. We're losing focus. Kate, unperturbed, turned another page. We'll get back to that. Let's look at the phone records. She pushed a new file forward. One number appears 147 times in 3 months. That of Logan Barrett, Mrs. Fortin's ex. Scarlett's face turned crimson. This is ridiculous. It was nothing. I stared at her. So what was it? Professional mentoring? Prayer sessions? She slammed the table. You don't understand. She pointed at her friends. They're the reason for all of this. They told me to talk to him, to see what else was out there, that maybe Logan had changed. They pushed me towards him. Kendall's eyes widened. Excuse me. You all said it. Scarlett yelled, losing all control. You're the ones who pushed me to him. Tori jumped to her feet. We told you to think about what you wanted, not to cheat on your husband. Oh, stop it. Scarlett spat. You were the first one to send me his Facebook profile. Lena's eyes bulged. So now you're blaming us? You're the one who lied and said you were miserable. I was. Scarlett screamed. Because you filled my head with crap. You said he was probably cheating on me, that he was controlling. I believed you. The room immediately exploded. Kendall stood up as well. You begged us to help you make him jealous. Don't twist this. Scarlett shrieked. You ruined my life. If it weren't for you idiots, I'd still have my marriage. Tori threw her hands up. Your marriage is dead because you can't stop lying. Sophie chimed in. You're delusional, Scarlett. We defended you. We were humiliating this man for you, she said, pointing at me. And now you're turning on us. Scarlett was trembling, her voice caught between rage and sobs. You used me. You loved having someone more miserable than you around. You wanted this. Kate leaned over to me. We may not even need the rest of this. I gave a slight smile. I'm enjoying the show. The shouting continued. Kendall called her ungrateful. Tori called her a manipulator. Sophie threatened to leave. It was chaos. Then Kendall exploded. We're done. Don't call us. Don't text us. You're crazy, Scarlett. Tori agreed. You're toxic. You blame everyone but yourself. Sophie grabbed her bag. I can't believe we defended you. They stormed out of the room. As they passed me, I gave them a little wave. Thanks for coming, girls. Always a pleasure. Kendall growled. You're an idiot. Absolutely, I replied. But an idiot with evidence. The door slammed shut. Silence finally fell. Scarlett was left devastated, trembling, her gaze shifting from me to Kate, then to her lawyer, who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. Kate broke the silence. Well, that concludes the credibility of the witnesses. She placed one last document in front of Scarlett. Signed the divorce settlement. Division of assets, restitution, legal fees. Scarlett looked at the paper, then at me. Do you hate me that much? I shook my head. No, Scarlett. Hate requires effort. I've just stopped participating in this play. The tears returned. You destroyed everything. I stood up and adjusted my jacket. No, you destroyed everything. I'm just making sure I don't go down with you. Her lawyer requested a recess. They stepped out for 20 minutes. I waited quietly while Kate organized her files. When they returned, Scarlett's eyes were red and her lawyer looked defeated. She sat down, picked up the pen, and signed without a word. Kate stacked the documents and stood up. We'll file everything tomorrow morning. As I was leaving, Scarlett whispered behind me. You think this makes you a hero? Without turning around, I said no. It just makes me someone who stopped being the fool in your story. The play was over. The curtain had finally fallen, and for the first time, I didn't stay to applaud. 3 months later, the divorce was finalized. No drama, no courtroom scenes, no last-ditch desperate calls. Just paperwork, signatures, and silence. Kate sent me a text. Congratulations. You're officially free. Free. The word felt different now that it was all over. I used part of the settlement to buy a small condo near Green Lake. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. I slowly rebuilt. My work improved. I got a promotion, and for the first time in years, I wasn't walking on eggshells. Even my coworkers noticed. My boss told me, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. You look 10 years younger. Then came the cherry on top. The Lulus imploded. It all started with a notification. Kendall's boyfriend posting a breakup text explaining he'd been loyal to the wrong person. No context needed. Tori fared no better. A coworker had reported her for spreading gossip about clients, and she was fired on the spot. Sophie tried to play the sage with a long post about how we're all human, we make mistakes, which turned into a disaster in the comments. As for Lena, she deleted everything. Social media, photos, accounts. Gone. I scrolled through it all one night while eating takeout, smiling like I was watching a karma compilation. Then I turned off my phone and went back to my movie. No arrogance, no bitterness, just satisfaction. Weeks turned into months. I didn't date anyone. I didn't feel the need. I was enjoying the quiet, my space, my time, my peace. It was strange how beautiful life became when you stopped carrying other people's drama. Then, one morning, about 6 months after the divorce, I ran into Scarlett. I was at Walmart grabbing coffee and paper towels. When I saw her in the frozen food aisle, she looked smaller somehow. Dull hair, deep circles under her eyes, wearing an oversized sweatshirt. She froze when she saw me. Jeremy, she whispered, as if saying my name hurt. The silence was awkward. The only sound was the hum of the freezers between us. Are you okay? She asked. Healthy. Peace will do that to a person, I replied. She managed a weak smile. I wanted to find you. I just didn't know how. I guess the divorce papers took care of that part. Her eyes filled with tears. I'm so sorry for everything. I lost everything after that day. My friends, the house. Logan, he blocked me. My job is barely hanging on. I know I don't deserve it, but I would do anything for a second chance. I still want a family with you kids. I want to fix everything." I just looked at her. I didn't feel anger anymore, or that little taste of revenge, not even a spark. Just a quiet compassion. "Scarlett," I said softly, "you didn't lose everything. You lost what you took for granted." She nodded slowly, wiping her eyes. "You're right. I messed it all up. I hope you rebuild," I added, "but that's your job now, not mine." She whispered, "Goodbye, Jeremy. Take care of yourself," I replied, and I walked away without looking back. A year later, I went to a mutual friend's wedding. I had almost canceled, but curiosity got the better of me. The music was good, the food was better, and for the first time in a long time, I felt truly myself, whole again. In the middle of the evening, I noticed Scarlett sitting alone in a corner. No Lulus, no date, just her and a glass of water. She saw me talking with a woman from the groom's side, someone funny, easygoing, without that drama-filled look in her eyes. The expression on Scarlett's face said it all. When our eyes met, I simply gave her a polite nod. Nothing more. She tried to smile, but the smile vanished before it even formed. Later, walking to my car, I realized something. The intervention she had staged to destroy me had actually rebuilt me. She had tried to break my confidence, and instead, she had given it back to me. People think power comes from shouting back louder, but the truth is, sometimes, agreeing with someone who's trying to hurt you is the most powerful move there is. If you like the stories, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.